I make a lot of fresh homemade pizza thanks to my two energetic boys who never seem to stop eating. So when I saw the PieZano Pizza Oven on sale on Amazon, I just grabbed it. With dual heating zones reaching up to 800 degrees Fahrenheit, it claims to deliver fresh homemade pizza with crispy crusts and melty cheese in under 6 minutes, all with a real stone-baked finish. I'm going to test it out, and I'll also share my homemade pizza dough recipe at the end of the video. This is the PieZano Pizza Oven by Granitestone. My first impression was that it is lightweight. Of course, it doesn't have the stone plate in it just yet, but it looks and feels very compact. There are 4 suction-based cups to keep it in place on the counter. We have 2 wooden pizza peels, a scraper, and the 12-inch removable ceramic stone plate. Before I got started, I gave the oven a good wipe inside to remove any residue, and also wiped the exterior to remove any shipping and packaging residue. The unit also has a viewing window, dual temperature controls, and a thermometer display. I did a 10-minute burn off, setting the temperature to the highest setting of 800 degrees Fahrenheit. For my first attempt, I decided to keep it simple with a classic cheese pizza. I set the temperature to 800 degrees Fahrenheit as recommended by the recipe guides that came with this pizza oven. And once it reached 800 degrees Fahrenheit, I carefully opened the lid using heat-resistant mitts. Since it was my first time, I not only found it tricky to manage the split wooden peels, but the stone plate was so hot that I could feel the heat and realized that I probably should have worn some oven mitts for this part. I also realized that I didn't add enough flour to the peels, which is why it took a bit of effort to get the pizza onto the hot plate. When I did eventually get it onto the plate, it landed so close to the edge that I had to try and slide it back a little, which proved a little challenging because the dough instantly became stuck to the hot plate. It is all such a quick process, so you have to be ready to act fast. Once I closed the lid, the cheese instantly began melting. Keeping an eye on it through the window, and within a minute I could see an air bubble form. So taking my fork, I popped it per the instructions so it doesn't touch the heating element, causing it to burn and smoke. The pizza was beginning to brown very fast, and after 3 minutes I opened the lid to try and rotate it as the instructions recommended to get an even crisp on all sides. Again, the plate was so hot that you can see the amount of smoke coming out of it. In just 4 minutes, the pizza was done, and well, the results weren't exactly what I hoped for. The underside of the crust was scorched. The top part was okay, but I think 800 degrees Fahrenheit was way too hot. But what I was impressed with was the dough was fully cooked in just 4 minutes. Take a look at this crust here, and you can see how airy and bubbly it is on the inside and crusty on the outside. I let the oven cool before attempting to clean it, and ended up cleaning it the next day right before making my second pizza, which was a chicken pizza. I used the scraper to scrape all the burnt stuck-on bits off, and then used a slightly damp paper towel to wipe the plate. The rest of the marks will not come off, and that's okay. You want to make sure not to wash the stone plate or use anything extra to clean the stone plate, otherwise it will get ruined. For my second pizza, I decided to set the dual temperature controls to 600 degrees Fahrenheit to avoid the pizza burning again. While the unit was preheating, I began working on my pizza, first adding the sauce, then mozzarella cheese, tomatoes, red peppers, red onions, jalapenos, and cooked chicken cut up into tiny cubes. The chicken has been marinated in a tandoori chicken marination. Finally, adding some mozzarella cheese and a little bit of cheddar cheese. Once the oven reached 600 degrees Fahrenheit, I carefully lifted the peels and lowered them onto the stone plate, angling the peels upwards to release the pizza. Since the plate was not as hot as the first time, and because I covered the peels in extra flour, the pizza slid off much easier this time round. The pizza was cooking beautifully, and after 3 minutes I rotated the pizza using the peels and it moved easily this time. After 2 more minutes, the pizza was done. I turned the control knobs to 0 to turn off the unit and took out the pizza. This time the base of the pizza was so much better, and obviously making sure that the dough was fully cooked. You can take a look here, it looks amazing, fully cooked through. Lowering the temperature made a huge difference, and finally I started getting the hang of it. Now I'm feeling much more confident sliding the pizzas off the peel and onto the stone. It's definitely a skill that takes a lot of practice, but my biggest tip is to start with a lower temperature until you're comfortable handling the pizza peels, your pizza and the hot plate. You can also make frozen pizza, but you will have to thaw them first before placing them on the stone plate. So overall, we love the PieZano Pizza Oven. It delivers on its promise of restaurant quality pizza, but there is a bit of a learning curve to get the settings just right. Once you figure it out though, it's fairly easy to use, and if you use your own pizza dough recipe, you'll always get delicious results. So skip the pizza store and make your own healthy, fresh, homemade pizza. You can also make other recipes like garlic knots or even naan bread, calzones, and also reheat your pies in this. I think it's very impressive in that it's compact and it's very quiet. You can't even hear it running like you would an oven. And the fact that it reaches up to 800 degrees Fahrenheit, which you won't find on a normal conventional oven. If you do like your pizza slightly scorched or charred, then you may want to cook at 800 degrees Fahrenheit, but I personally, and my kids definitely would not eat it scorched, so I do have to lower the temperature and cook it at maybe 600-700 degrees Fahrenheit. As promised, here's my go-to pizza dough recipe. Sprinkle 2 cups of flour into your measuring cup or jug. Don't scoop out the flour because it won't be the right measurement. Then transfer it to your mixing bowl. To this, add 1 teaspoon of quick rise bread yeast. Sometimes I use pizza yeast, but today I'll use the regular bread yeast in case you guys can't find any pizza yeast. Add 1 tablespoon of sugar and stir everything together. In your measuring cup, add 1/8 cup of olive oil, 3/4 teaspoon of salt. Then fill it up to the 1/2 cup mark with hot water. Make sure the water is hot, not boiling, not warm, but hot. Then mix all of this before pouring it into your bowl with the dry ingredients. I'm going to use my stand mixer with the dough hook attached, but you can of course knead the dough by hand. You will need to add a little bit more water, but do this very slowly because you don't want the dough to become sticky, especially for this pizza oven. I added just less than 1/4 cup of extra water to get the right consistency. And this is what the texture should be like. It's not too sticky that it sticks to your hand, and it's not too dry either. Shape it into a ball, spray some oil on it and oil the sides of the bowl, and cover it with cling film, and then cover the bowl with a towel and keep it in the warmest part of your kitchen or house. After an hour or so, deflate the dough and let it rise again. I split the dough into 2 balls. If I can, I keep them in the fridge overnight and take them out an hour before I need to make the pizzas. But if I need the dough straight away, then I'll just go ahead and make my pizza. And there you have it. If you found this video useful, please give it a like and be sure to subscribe for more.